So let me switch to the root user where I have placed my Terraform configuration files and then Terraform.
Sudhir, have you shared your screen?
Uh, Not yet. Okay. So now yesterday we are talking about variables, right? So let us continue with that. So we have seen variables like how to define variables in variables.tf file, and we have seen how to use variables in the prompt, and we have seen how to pass variables on the CLI command line, right? So let's go back to that. So input variables, and we are talking about the CLI, and that's what we have seen, right? So what we have to do is nothing but the variables which you are trying to pass will already exist with the default values. Now I want, as a user, let's say this is the default values for your dev environment. So everybody will try to use these configuration files in order to spin up your cluster, means spin up your infrastructure on the target provider with this particular default values. This is because a development environment. Now before going to the production, I want to do slight modifications because production will be on a different availability zone. Okay, and it doesn't use this particular AMI, it might use a different AMI. Okay, so these could be the changes which should happen when it is getting created. So every time I cannot go to the configuration file, main configuration file, and I cannot modify it, right? So that's the reason we have created this variables with the default values. Now this default values also will not be the same for all the kind of infrastructure which we are trying to create. Sometimes we have to override them. So the intention of writing these default values are nothing but if someone has forgot to pass the values, by default it will create with this particular values. Okay, so that is the main motto of this particular variables declaration with a default value. Now I want to override that. So in order to override that from the CLI, we can pass it. Okay, we will define default values in variables.tf file. That's we already know. Now these values like instance type and few will be overridden by passing the argument call -var in the CLI. Execute below command in this demo to override the t3.micro and the count value. So did we discuss about this yesterday? Did I show any example of this? No, right? I just
No,
showed theoretically, I guess.
No.
Okay, done. So let us see it practically. So input, let me go there, and we are using the same configuration files, right? So if you try to recall these variables once again, these are the let me add the default values once again. For this I removed, for this I removed, and for this I removed, right? So let me override. Uh, Set this AMI, right? Let me take this, modify my variables.tf, right? Okay, so now let me take this whole bunch, okay, and let me come here. If you know, like this file, if I want to remove all the lines, entire context at a time, hold, press the D button, small d, okay, and shift G, automatically delete whole lines. Okay, this is a shortcut command in the editor. Okay, so now insert to place your content, and then it is not copied. Okay, let me try to take this, copy, and then paste. Okay, done. So now it is trying to create in US East region and US East 1A, and this is the AMI, and this is the instance type by default, and this is the count, right? So let us save this and come out. Now I want to override these values. Okay, these values I want to override. So how will you do Terraform? Okay, plan, for example, plan -var, only single hyphen. Okay, so here you can see this example as well. If you have any doubts, always try to open the readme and see these examples. Okay, so equal to in double quotes. Okay, so what is my variable which I want to override is nothing but I don't want to I want to modify this az name. So az underscore name. So what I want to replace, I want to create in US East 1B. Okay, so US east 1c. Let's say we have totally 6 availability zones in this region actually. In not in all the regions you will get like this, but for this particular region we have totally 6 availability zones. Okay, you can pick any one of them, it's up to you. Okay, so let's say EC2. If I try to click on that, if you try to see here somewhere, yeah, here you can see, right, totally we have 6 zones. US East 1A, B, C, D, E, F. Let's say I want to create on F. Okay, let's say hyphen 1F. Okay, right? I want to create in that particular availability zone. Okay, but the default value is US East 1A. I have overwritten that. Next one is nothing but var is equal to, I want to override the count, inst count. Let's say I want to create 2 instances in that zone. Okay, and then micro tt micro, let us leave it that. Anyway, we just want to understand whether it is getting overridden or not. It doesn't mean that all of things are need to be overridden. If it is really not needed, no need to override. Okay, but this is how, when you are doing some CI/CD operations, right, what people will try to do, some people who are working as a developer doesn't know like which parameter should be overwritten. Only the person who is like operation engineer or the automation engineer of this particular Terraform tool will know like why we have to replace these values or for on which platform. Okay, for a developer he doesn't know it, right? So that's the reason, if a developer forgot to give this particular parameters, by default it will take default values, right? So that's how it will get spinned up. Okay, if it is, if he is really not concerned about where this particular instance is got launched, he want the instance to be launched only on US East 1A 1 region, but he doesn't care which availability zone it is getting launched. So that's fine, this is how we have to. But in CI/CD operations, now if you are trying to apply the same configuration file for different environments, so that's how we have to overwrite like this. Okay, in the CI/CD tool like Jenkins or Azure DevOps or AWS DevOps or whatever the platforms you are using, or GitHubs, GitLab, whatever it is, whenever whichever platform you are using to do the CI/CD operations, this is how we have to override. Okay, then enter. Now in the plan it has to reflect these changes. Let's see, 2 instances, and these 2 instances to launch in US East 1F. So let us see, it is trying to create totally 6. What is that? Security groups, you already know, that will be like 3. Okay, not 3, 4 actually. Okay, 4 security groups. Okay, means like security groups related resource type, and then 2 instances. You can see second one. Okay, you can see it is using the same, it is creating the same availability zone, and you can see the count is got reflected with 2. This is second instance and this is the first instance. You can see the id which will get started from 0, which you already know. The count index will start from 0 1 2 3 like that. Okay, you can see for both of them these 2 instances are getting created in US East 1F availability zone. Okay, so now if I execute Terraform plan apply, it will get affected. Okay, that you already know, sometimes it's not needed actually to do all the time, but anyway, waste of time actually, you know, right? In the plan it is getting reflected, it's not needed actually to create. Hmm? ఇలాగటానికి ఏమైంది బంద వచ్చి మాట్లాడతామంటే క్లాస్ జరుగుతుంటే వెళ్ళు ఆఫర్ అది పెద్ద నన్ను కుడితే మనం బాగుంది చెప్తున్నా దాంతో నన్ను నువ్వు ఫస్ట్ చేసుకున్నావు నేను చెప్తా వస్తున్నా క్లాస్ అని డోరీనా ప్లీజ్. So let's try to spin up this. Yeah, you can see, oh, this instance is running from yesterday. I'm done. Oh my god, it's got created, but where is it? Where Where is that instance? Oh, okay, okay, just a second. Yes, he's right. Why it's only one? But this is not the one which I've launched. But okay, same thing. What it is trying to say? It's created, and web hyphen zero got created. What about one? Second instance has not been created. Zero and one, right? Well, it has not created, and that too it has created this. Okay. Hmm. Okay, let me do one thing. Terraform destroy hyphen auto. When this instance got created just now. Okay, fine. And that too created in 1A. Maybe because of this state file which caused an issue. Let me try to remove that and just create it. Did micro? That's fine. Shutting down. So after this, the next level of variables will be something like you are trying to understand related to. I took example from this one. Okay. Variable CLI. Okay, next is nothing but environment variables, and after that we will write Terraform TF vars. Okay, so let us see one by one. Okay, this got destroyed. Now let me try to apply this. Before that, let me try to remove the Terraform state files.
But removing Terraform state file is not an ideal scenario, right? Every time something, or is it something that one can expect? Like if something
See,
goes
this
wrong,
is something where we are trying to do different experiments, right? It's not that I'm trying to recreate or re-update, or I'm not doing like that. So in those scenarios, you can remove the Terraform state files. Okay, so nothing will happen to
oh,
it. Okay, if you are trying to modify already exist one and you are trying to modify it or updating or something, you are trying to manage it, then it is not recommended to delete at all. Okay, so that's the reason we will try to open this, save this particular Terraform state files in a remote location instead of storing in the local location where you are trying to execute Terraform commands. Generally, when you execute Terraform commands, it will store in the local system itself. But if you try to store in
right.
the remote location, the advantage is everybody can share that particular Terraform state file. Okay, so we will talk about that. At that time also we can understand that concept. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
so let us go back to this dashboard and let me try to refresh. Now we can see this got launched, but it is taking this one. Did I did any mistake? Let me cross verify. Why? Because here it is shown me 1A. Oh, okay, 1A.
You have not specified the variable, right? It is simply Terraform apply.
Oh my goodness. This is the mistake. So no one, yeah, at least you have to see when I'm executing plan, I gave a proper values var and this one, right? But when I'm executing
Yes.
Terraform apply, I have not passed the variables. So how come it will override the values, right? So that's a mistake, silly mistake which I've done. Okay. Now if I do Terraform apply, let's see what happens. So it has already created two, but by default it created in US East 1A. Okay, no, but it's only created one. Okay, by because that is a default value. Okay, so now let's try to do this. So it is telling you that one will get destroyed. That is nothing but this particular instance, and two will get added. Okay, so I'm okay with this. So yes. Now you can see second one is getting created, and this 0 1 this 0th index instance will get recreated. Okay, so parallelly two things are getting happened. You can see there. Now you can see this instance is getting created in US East 1F availability zone, and two containers are getting created. Let's wait, because it has to destroy this one. Okay, and then only it will create a new one, another one. Okay, now it is getting created. Let's refresh and see if that makes any sense. Yes, here you can see now this both the instances have been launched in US East 1F as per the parameters which we have overwritten, okay, in the CLI hyphen var option. Okay, so this is all about your Terraform input variables with CLI. Okay, so let us try to understand input variables, same thing, but now I will be trying to inject my input variables using environment variables. Okay, how I can declare them? Environment variables. So environment variables, in the sense, simple, you will be defining some environment variables. So this environment variables will be picked by your Terraform. So how it will identify that these are Terraform related environment variables? Try to look at this environment variable name. The prefix of the environment variables will be tf, capital letters, underscore var underscore. This is the prefix. You can see what I've written in the example. You can see the environment variables. This will be the prefix. For all rest of the things are nothing but your variable name, what you write in your variables.tf file. Okay, so in this way also we can modify the or override the values. Okay, so let us see. You can see it got created. Okay, I hope these two instances are running successfully. Okay, you can see there these two are running fine, and it should run the application as well. I think I have written this nginx ingress install and all. Actually it may or may show. Okay, let us not wait for that. Meanwhile, what we can do right now, I want to again override this, in the sense, by default it is created in US East 1F. Okay, I want to override that to US East 1C. Okay, and here it is using t2.micro. I want to use t3.micro. Okay, so these are the two parameters which I want to override with Terraform environment variables. Okay, so how to do that? Export, okay, tf underscore var underscore. This is prefix for all the environment variables which you write. Okay, now rest of the characters are nothing but your variable names. So what are your variable names? What I have written actually. So if you take the example, where is that variables? Yeah, what I want to modify, availability zone. So az underscore name. So az underscore name is equal to, so I have to modify that, right? So in the example only I have clearly written it. Okay, you can just watch this one. Okay, so what is availability zone? I need to use US East hyphen 1C. Okay, that is one environment variable. Another environment variable is nothing but instance type, I guess. Yeah, that is what I have written. Instance type, did I written properly? What I've written, inst. Okay, so inst underscore type equal to t3.micro. Okay, done. These are the environment variables which I have written right now. So when you are trying to do Terraform plan, let me remove this. Okay, now let us apply. Let's see whether these values are getting picked or not. Is it picking the values in the variables.tf file, or is it picking the values which I have written in the environment variables? Let's see. And it will try to tell you it will create only one instance. Why? Because as per the expectation of default values, instance type should be only one. Okay, so rest of the things, see, one is getting destroyed, that is nothing but additional instance, and one is getting recreated. Why? Because you are modifying your availability zone, so that's the reason. Okay, one instance will get destroyed. That is one thing what it is trying to say. Wherever you see minus symbol, it is nothing but it will get destroyed, it will get removed completely. Wherever you see minus slash plus symbol, which means that that resource will get recreated in a different availability zone. Okay, so that's what it is trying to say. Here you can see this will get destroyed completely. Here also you can see which got marked. Okay, so let us try to apply this. So when I'm trying to apply, I will just use simple apply. I don't want to do this particular task as well. Okay, so environment variables are already there. I just need to see whether this works or not. Okay, so let's go back and see. Now Terraform apply. So one should get removed and one should get recreated with instance type t3.micro. Okay, let's wait and see. Now accept. So tomorrow and after tomorrow there is no class as usual. Okay, so try to practice. Anyway, weekend, but it's up to you. And let me know if you have any questions. I will respond maybe some delay. Tomorrow I might be busy. Day after tomorrow I'll be free. Like I will try to respond as soon as possible. If someone is really interested to learn Docker and Kubernetes, so many videos I have uploaded. You can see it got refreshed. Okay, this is got working. So now if you see, like I'm just not promoting it, just saying that don't waste your money, just try to watch these videos, so you'll get in-depth concept of Docker and Kubernetes. Docker, it's not actually full-fledged uploaded. I'll make it only one video to talk about Docker completely, and this is all about your Kubernetes. I uploaded so many things actually, GitOps for Kubernetes using Argo CD, which you might have never heard about it. Okay, so these are like concepts which we have, and integrating authentication with OpenStack Keystone, which you may not know. So these are the things which I have integrated. So just see and watch, and if you have any questions also you can ask me. Okay. So that's just want to say, and the documentation I've already given in every video. I gave the documentation like how I have uploaded for Terraform in GitHub, right? For Docker and Kubernetes also it is uploaded. Okay.
Sudhir, how to start this video? Which one should go first?
That's what. Let's say you go to this, right? GitHub. I see. I'm new to this video YouTube. Okay. So I'm just trying to see if someone clicks on one particular video, it randomly should show the series of videos what to watch next. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know, like straightforward. I don't know how to manage these videos actually. I just
Yeah, I
uploaded.
can create a playlist, right?
Maybe a
Part
playlist I
one.
already created. See, playlist I already created. You can see there. This is Kubernetes deep dive videos, and this is Docker deep dive videos. For Kubernetes, you can see there are total 24. For Docker, only 3 right now. Okay. So how to start with? Okay. So see, you're learning from this particular sessions, right? You're learning AWS, Azure, Terraform, and Docker Kubernetes. Okay. So parallelly, you can learn. So you can go to this particular documentation. Okay, so clearly I have written the syllabus. You can go through the syllabus and you can start from there. Okay, forget about Docker right now. Kubernetes at least. Okay, so Kubernetes I have written how to start with, what is architecture and all. I've written the points actually. Okay, this is just a topics which I've written. So if you want to know about architecture and components, then you can, I have written here. Okay, where is that actually? Somewhere here it is somewhere actually, or else you can go through the documentation as well. So Kubernetes, and if you go to the first topic, see first topic, right, architecture, it will explain with the diagrams. Okay, what are Kubernetes component, how it works, everything is written in diagrammatical way. Okay, yes, we need some time to learn and to practice. That's it. That's the only challenge actually when we are working, right? It is like pretty challenging for us to do both of them. Anyways, yeah, now you can see this got been launched. Okay, only one particular instance is running right now as expected. Okay, so it is launched in 1c and it is using t3 micro, so which is getting modified right now. Okay, so it is working as per our expectations. So now let me destroy, or let me try to go for the next environment variables. So what is the next one? which is environment variables we have discussed. Okay, now let's close this one and let us talk about TF-vars. Okay, so what is this TF-vars? In TF-vars we have different things. Whenever you are writing your TF-vars, you can write any name for that particular file, but the extension of that particular file should be t.tfvars. The extension of that particular file will be .tfvars. Now variables key values will be stored in terraform.tfvars, and the variables will be defined in variables.tf file. Okay, variables you will define in variables.tf file, but for that variables, if you want to override the values, no need to define environment variables, no need to define CLI arguments as well. Directly you can write a terraform dot or anything sudhir.tfvars file. In that file you can write your key value pair. That's it, enough. Okay, left hand side it should be the variable name equal to the value which you want to replace. So that is how it is. Okay, let's provide default values in variables.tf file and see if the values will be auto loaded with values defined in the terraform.tf vars. Okay, so this is what we are trying to do. So check with Terraform plan, and to check the values are picked from the file terraform.tf vars. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do. Let's say by default how Terraform plan will pick this variables terraform.tf vars, in the sense by default it will understand this particular name of the file terraform.tf vars. If you are writing any other name, let's say sudhi.tf vars or subhashini.tf vars or rk or pc or deepak.tf vars, let's say I want to pick that particular tf vars file, then you have to specify the variable name called -var-file is equal to that particular file name. Okay, there is one more file as well that is called as auto tfvars. Auto tfvars will be picked automatically, no need to specify any argument. Write name whatever you want, it will automatically pick that particular file. Okay, but here the challenge is if you write terraform as a name of the file, then it will automatically get picked. But if you are writing any other name ec2.tfvars, then it has to be defined through -var-file is equal to that particular name. Okay, so that's how we have to define. So let us try to do that and see the experiment. Okay, so first I will write terraform.tfvars and we'll see whether it will automatically pick or not. Okay, so I will not apply, I'll just do a plan. Okay, so terraform will say tfvars. Okay, so let me override the values which I have already written here. Let us try to do that. Okay, so instead of writing this small, or let it be smaller, now I need to see 5 instances should be created, and let's say 2. Okay, now it should get reflected. Okay, so it should override the default values what we have written in the variables.tf file, right? So terraform plan, and this file should be automatically picked. Why? Because it is the name of naming convention is terraform.tfvars. If it is any other name, Sudhir or any other name Sudhir.tfvars, then I have to explicitly say that pick that particular file using var file. Okay, let's see that. You can see now 4 are getting added. How come? Why? Because you are directly creating one instance is already exists, right, with the same parameters. Other 4 instances are getting created. Simple. Okay, for existing instance it is trying to modify the instance type. For other instances they are getting created, so that's the reason it is 4. Okay, so that's the reason we have to understand. 1 will be update in place and 4 will be in added. Okay, you can say 1 to change and 4 to add, totally 5. Okay, so 5 instances are getting changed, and what we have to observe is nothing but the new instances which are getting created are applied with this value, and 5 instances are getting created. Why? The default values is only 1, but right now since we have override the value in the terraform tf state file saying that 5 instances should be created and each instance should be created with t2.small instance type. So that is getting affected, which means that your default values are getting overridden. Okay, so now let us talk about another file. Let's say I have created another file called let's say copy sudhir.tf vars. Okay, and let me try to remove this Terraform TFVars. Okay, for example, just I want to show. Okay, so I have only this particular file TFVars of Sudhir, right? It is not terraform.tfvars, it is sudhir.tfvars. If I don't pass anything, let me see in the plan, will it get affected or will it use the default values or not? Okay. As per sudhir.tfvars, it should create 5 instances and then one instance should, like 5 instances actually. All the instances should be created with t2.small image instance type. Okay. So now, maybe this is strange for me actually. 1C, right?
You didn't remove the file. You didn't remove the file.
No, no, no. I didn't remove. Oh, okay. Thank you.
No.
Sorry, I forgot I just removed. Yeah. Now let me apply plan. In the Jenkins and all, we can do like this, right? We can upload the files. Okay, Jenkins has that option. So with that particular option, we can run your CI/CD pipeline by overriding the values. So this will be helpful for you. Now we can see that it is telling you no changes. Why? Because as per the default changes, it should be only one, and your sudhir.tf var file is not getting picked. Okay, if that should get picked, okay, see, as per the default values, my expectation and what is running on the cluster is fine. Okay, so that's the reason it is telling me no changes. Okay, but I have created some sudhir.tf vars file, right? Now I want to apply that particular values. So for that, what I need to do, -var -file equal to sudhir.tf vars. Okay, now let's see whether this will get reflected or not. 5 instances and t2.micro. So let's see. Now you can see it got affected, but our intention is to see totally 5 got created and US East 1C, and you can see it is using t2.small. What I have defined in my sorry. Okay, so now if I change this to, let's say, two instances, and let's say t3 dot medium or t2 dot medium. Okay, let's see. Now two instances only, right? As per my expectation in the sudhir.tfvars file. Two instances. One has to be changed and one has to be created. One has to be changed. Why? Because you have changed your instance type, that is from t3 micro to t3 medium. So that has to update with your existing instance, but new instance will be created in the same availability zone what we have written in the default values, and then this is getting affected. So it is creating two instances what we have written in sudhir.tfvars, and it is getting created in the with the instance type called t3.medium, which is getting affected. Okay, so this is one more thing which I want to show. Okay, next thing. Okay, so this is all about your TFVars. Now next one is nothing but auto TFVars. Okay, so let us see about that. I will write a different name whatever I want, but let's see whether this is getting automatically picked or not. Okay, let's see. What I need to do, so just copy this sudhir.tf. I'll say sudhir.tf.auto TFVars. Okay, dot it is. Okay, oh shit. Done. Let's remove that. Remove the sudhir.tfvars file. Okay, now we have these files. Okay, what is that file? You can see here sudhir.auto TFVars. So as per this particular thing, it should get affected with two instances, or let's modify and say 3 instances so that you can understand. So 3 instances, right? That is my requirement, and t2 dot medium, for example. Let's see. Now let's get affected. So let me remove this and let us try to apply plan and see whether the changes are automatically picked from values are picked from the auto TFRs. You can see 3 instances are getting created. You can see one will change. Why? Because from T2 micro to T2 medium, or what is it? Yeah, T2 medium. From T3 micro to T2 medium, one instance will get updated and other 2 instances will get created with this particular values. Okay, so which is as per our expectations, and this is also working fine. Okay, so in this way, so in multiple ways we can override the default values. Okay, in multiple ways, and other places what we have written will have some priority. Okay, so we will discuss that in the Monday, but let us try to understand all the options what we have. So you understood what is this TFS with auto and without auto as well. Okay, so do remember this particular points. And next, input variables are nothing but variable type list. Okay, so variable type list, in the sense we have two types of ways to declare your variables. One is list format and one is mapping format. Okay, so list format, in the sense you will write some list. Okay, you will try to pick any one of them. For example, let's say this variables. This is a way of declaring your variables. This is called as list. Okay, list of strings, which means that this is how you write. Okay, you have written multiple choices here. Which one you want to pick in the instance.tf file? Okay, you have seen this. I'm trying to pick the second one. If you want to pick the first one, you have to write the index value as 0 and 2, whichever you want. Let's say, again, let us try to discuss. Generally we write default and we used to write only one particular string, right? Now we are writing a list of strings. You already know what is list in the sense it will look like array. Okay, you will have multiple values. For a single variable we are storing multiple values. Earlier what we used to do, for a single variable we used to write only one value, but now we are writing multiple values to a single variable. Now which one will get picked? That depends upon how you are calling it actually. If it is a list, you will call var dot variable name and the index, the position value. So the position will start from 0, 1, 2, like that. Totally 3 values, so 0, 1, 2. Whichever you want to pick, that you have to mention like this, the index value here. Okay, in the brackets. Okay, if you are writing map in the sense, let's say for example, it is written here. Instance tags means you are trying to add tags, right? How the tags will be added? Key value pairs. It is not a single value, right? It will have a key and value. So this variable will have now this key value pairs. This is called as mapping. Okay, this is map of strings, which means that there are multiple values, right? So this is called as mapping. So when you write like this, when you want to write like this, we have to use map. When you want to write like this, we have to use list of strings. Okay, so let us take this example and see how these three tags are getting added to your instance and which instance type you want to pick. Okay, so let us look at that example. So I will try to destroy this. Terraform destroy hyphen auto. So I'm trying to clean up the existing resource so that I don't want to put it in the background and forget about it, because they will charge for it. It's not like Azure, or it's not like what do you say, GCP, where they will try to give you some credits and all. No, you have to use a free trial. Whatever the free trial is available, that you have to use. That's a big headache with AWS for practicing actually. So this is getting cleaned up, and after that we will see list type of variables and map type of variables. After this, I will tell you some simple tasks. So try to do it on your weekend. It's up to you. Because you know about variables right now, and you know about for each meta arguments and all. Meta arguments, you know, like count, for each, life cycle, you know, so many things, right? Except a provisioner and connection. That meta arguments we have told we will discuss after this variables and values. So with this concept what we have learned, I will give you some task. Simple task, it's not like complex or something. Just to understand like how you are able to understand these concepts. Okay. Okay, done, cleaned up. So now what I need to do. So the thing is, I want to declare a variables like this. Okay. So I want to add a tags and instance type. So for existing variables only, let's say I will remove the availability zone. This is fine. Okay. Instance type I want to remove. Okay. So count is already there. I just want to add two concepts which are nothing but these two. I will remove that count as well. Okay. Because we already have this count, or let me remove this one. Okay, done. Nothing is repeated, right? All these are individual. Okay. Now instance type I have written. I have given some choice actually, either this one, or this one. Okay. If someone wants to use this, they have to modify the instance.tf file. If someone wants to use this, they want to modify that. Okay. And then default by instance count is 1. And this is the tagging. So how will you utilize this? Let us try to understand. Okay. So now go to the instance.tf file. Now here you got an option like you cannot use this one. Okay. So we need to call one of them. Say if I don't write this, what will happen? Let us see. Okay. So Terraform fmt and then Terraform validate. Here itself you will come to know. You can see it is telling you that okay, var dot instance type is a list of strings. Okay, it is a list of strings. It is not a single string, right? It is having a list of strings actually. So you need to pick one of them. That is what it is trying to say. So what you have to do, which one you want to pick, that index value you have to mention. Do you want to pick for the first one? Then you have to mention as 0. If you want to pick the second one, then you have to mention the index value as 1. I mentioned as 1. Okay, instance count is 1. By default it is. This is John, this is fine. Now coming to the tags. Tags, now I don't need to hard code this particular value here. Now how I can call the tags? So here the simple thing is like var dot, what is the tag name I have mentioned actually? It is EC2 instance tags. So copy this and mention here. That's it. Done. Okay. So automatically it will replace the tags. Let's see how it will replace or not. Okay. So if I use now Terraform validate, let's see if it is a valid configuration file somewhere. It's valid. Okay. So now if I execute Terraform plan, I need to see 3 tags which is already written in the, what it is trying to say, instance type is a list of strings. Okay. What happened then? INST type. Okay, okay. Let me remove that. This one is there, right? I just need to remove. Okay. So plan. Again, one more. Variable may not be used here. Var dot instance type. Where is that location? Source code not available. Okay. Let's pick the variables. Var dot inst type and inst count. Inst type, inst count, EC2 instance tags. Okay. So one value dot instance type, variables not allowed. Any mistake I have done? No, 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 no. List of strings, this is fine. Mapping is fine, and this is fine. Okay. T2 micro, T3 micro, T3 small. That's fine. And then instance. Here var dot instance type. Instance type. Okay. So var dot instance type. That's fine. Let me try to save this. Variables not allowed. One, value of a variable style line, source code not available, variables may not be used here. Let me
Are we have we cleaned up the environment variable?
That's okay. See, here the thing is, I'm trying to understand why this variable is not able to pick. Source code not available in the sense. So it's not saying that the variables are not defined here. But we have defined this instance type and we have written the list as well. Type list of strings. Description, type, default. Okay. Just let me cross check, okay? 1 second. Where instance type able to show this one is fine. Did I mistake up? I subscribe why I have written like this. So to introduce the equal sign, so this is not needed. That is what it is trying to say. And that's how I remove this. True, 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 true. Strange. Source code not available. Somewhere some silly mistakes we have done. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. So instance provider security group rules security group.tf variable.tf. Okay. So this is good. Um, so if I open this particular instance, it is telling me that variable instance type. Let me try to declare. On value of var instance type line 1. Okay. Source code not available, which means that it is telling that the value which we have written here, right, which we are trying to call, it is telling that this variable is not available. Okay. That's the meaning of it. Variables.tf file is there, and I have written instance underscore type, and then I have written the default values t3 micro, t3 small, and this one. So it has to pick. Okay, okay, okay. List of strings, that's fine. This is fine. This is also fine. How come? Let me try to. We are using latest version, so I have to see like is there something that is missing. Variable not allowed. Variables not allowed. Okay. Variables may not be used here. How come? I'm trying to see. Okay. So as per the new version, is there any changes? I'm trying to call it. So let's see. Input variables. Okay, list. Okay, Okay. I'm trying to see that. Just give me 1 second. List we have written, everybody has written the same thing, list of strings, and then we are writing the default value. So what I will do right now, first of all, let me make it as single and see is there problem with this. Okay.
Sudhir, if you are making it single, then we have to change it as 0, right?
Sorry?
In list, you only have provided single value. Now you have to change it as 0, right?
Which one?
In instance, var.instance type. Since you have provided only one value, the index starts from 0, right?
That's okay, it has to pick right. This is fine. Okay. Yes, I have to remove. Okay. I'm just seeing like every time it is showing me the same error. What happened to this? Why it is not able to pick my value? See, let me try to do one thing. I'm just trying to do remove my .terraform, okay, directory itself, and I will remove anything apart from this. You have anything? No. So I have only my Terraform files, right? Now let me try to use. I will declare once again variables with my values. Oh, so I will declare some values. Okay. T2 macro. Okay, just a simple example. Okay. So let's go to the instances and let me try to define. Okay, now Terraform init. Maybe the plugin got changed. You can say it is like 6.2. Are we using 6.2 earlier? Maybe 6.0 or 6.1, I guess. The plugin which we have used for AWS.
6.1.
6.1, right? Yeah. Let's see if something has changed. Okay. So that's the reason what I did. I removed it. Why? Because there is no mistake from my end. I have written properly my variables. I have written the list of strings and I properly calling it as well with the index value. Okay. So issue is not from my end. So what I'm trying to do, I have removed the old plugin what I have. So when I execute Terraform init, it has installed a new plugin. Let's see if it helps me or not. Okay, Terraform Terraform validate. Obviously previous also it is showing success, but here I have to pass. If I failed again, then one value for var instance type. See, other people can wind up. Okay, I just want to try to solve this problem. If other people wants to drop off, they can drop off. Let me try to fix this. Source code not available. Variables may not be used here. Okay, let me fix it and get back to you. Okay.